Hey Cabalists, this is Chris, and I'm here to talk to you today about some games that I love to hate. These are games where you sit down with your friends, have some beers, you're eating snacks, you're having a good time, laughing, and 30 minutes in, you hate each other. You see that guy across the table, you want to kill him. I'm going to talk about 5 games that will absolutely end your friendships today. Cutthroat Caverns. Well, alright, I'm going to kick this off with a game that I did not think I would enjoy. It is the biggest take that game I have played in my life. This game is by Smirk and Dagger, and they started by making these games that will end friendships. They are just brutal games. Cutthroat Caverns is a game where you're basically going through a deck of challenges, and that is the cave. So you're moving through the cave with all your friends, and you each have characters and you have cards that allow you to do damage or affect the event that you're trying to conquer. You want to be the guy who kills the creature if you're fighting a creature. You're the only person that gets any credit if you kill the creature. And the majority of the cards in the game are take that cards. They totally mess up the guy behind you or in front of you. I don't know how many times when I was playing this game, I was certain I had the creature dead, down to 1 health, and one of the other guys would come in, play a take that card, and steal all my glory. Drove me nuts. It was people yelling at each other across the table because of those take that cards. It's a beautiful mechanic in this game. The one nice thing, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's one where you still have a good time, but man, someone snags that glory from you, you just want to reach across and strangle them. So that is Cutthroat Caverns. Dutch BLITZ. All right, next on the list is a game that all of us love around here. It's got Amish people on the cards, and we're in Pennsylvania, so we got lots of Amish. It is Dutch BLITZ. This game we have played so many times, and so many times we have stories of people attacking each other because of this game. You're essentially going through a deck of cards and trying to play these cards, which have 4 colors and numbers from 1 to 10, onto the table. And you're creating piles that have to go up numerically. Meanwhile, everybody else is doing it at the same time. This is a real-time game. There's no taking turns or anything like that. You're just plowing through this deck, slapping cards on the table, and so many times you're just waiting for that one moment, and your opponent just gets there right before you, and you both slam your hands on the table at the same time, and then you argue about who got there first. It's just screaming and yelling, and everybody's moving fast, and then when it ends, everybody starts yelling at the person that went out. It's great. And essentially you're playing to a certain number of points. So you play numerous rounds and you get to see how the other players are interacting, what their strategy is, how fast they go through things. It's so much fun. I love playing this game, and it's a great game to sit and play while you're drinking. This just amazing. That is Dutch BLITZ. Go out and get it. Buy a couple packs because you will rip these cards apart. City of Horror. The next on the list is a game I thought was gonna be junk. And I tell you, I was looking at it and it looks like junk. It's like your typical Ameritrash junky game. It's got cardboard standees and just, it's not that great a production. So I was not too excited when I got it on the table. In City of Horror, everybody is basically trying to defend this town and survive this zombie onslaught in this town. There's this whole cast of characters, from the old lady with the walker to the little kid with the skateboard to the preacher, to all kinds of stuff. Tons of different characters, all with strengths and weaknesses. Every player has a team of 4 civilians that are their essentially party, and you're moving around this town into these different buildings that have different effects. There are only so many slots in each building, and at points in the game, the people in a building have to vote who to kick out of the building, and that person will die. They're dead. So you're sitting there making your case, and they're just like, I'm sorry, we got to get rid of the old lady. And you're like, no, come on, you need me. And they'll just kick you out. It's so mean, But it's part of the game. The rules dictate you have to do this vote. So you have this dialogue back and forth. But in the end, when your friends send you off to the zombies, you hate them. You're like, you guys are jerks. It is such a fun game. I highly recommend going out and checking it out. It's just not one I see that many people have. Very, very good. Battlestar Galactica. Next up, a game I talk about a lot. I love this game. It's very swingy. I've had good and bad experiences, but I tell you what, the good experiences make up for the bad ones. Battlestar Galactica, it basically follows TV show. It has all the characters from the TV show. They have 3 expansions to it, which follow the plots of the show, implementing new mechanics. There's tons of different stuff that you can add or take away from this game to make it the kind of game you want to play. Essentially, people are given hidden role cards. Some people may be Cylons, which are the bad guys, and some may be humans, but no one knows. You have a hand of cards that you have to contribute to challenges, and Cylons want to make it bad while still not revealing themselves. Meanwhile, you have one person who's the captain, the admiral, and he can make certain decisions about where the ship's going to go. Then you have the president who can make decisions about what the politics are going to be at the time. And everybody is suspicious of everybody else. And I will tell you, the worst thing in this game is when the whole other crew decides that you're a Cylon. And you cannot convince them otherwise. It's so frustrating. And then they throw you in the brig, and then if you're not a Cylon, you're just stuck there. It's such an interesting dynamic between people's personalities and trying to figure out, are they lying or not? This is actually one of those games that I can actually play well in a hidden role. That's why I don't typically like the other ones. Really neat, really fun. It's very, very frustrating when your friends don't trust you. It's almost like they've betrayed you. Game of Thrones, the board game. All right, in my opinion, I have saved the best for last. When I think about games that ruin friendships, I have played this numerous times, and every time I am angry at people. Because Game of Thrones, the board game, requires you to essentially screw over your friends. You make alliances, and then you got to break them. So every time you're allying with someone, you have it in the back of your head that they are just going to screw you over. So many stories of people like I play this in my garage, and I'll go into the garage, which is right next to where everybody's playing, and I'll lean my ear against the wall trying to hear what people are like conniving about. Walking in, seeing your ally talking to your enemy, and you're like, what is going on here? Like, oh, the tension, the distrust, my favorite thing about the game, there is no currency except your ability to assist other players. So that creates this dialogue between the players where they have to cooperate and trust each other for a little bit. Just astoundingly fun political game. Takes forever to play, but I never feel bored the entire time I play it. And I frequently walk away from the table angry at somebody for screwing me over at the wrong time. Game of Thrones, the board game, is, in my opinion, the #1 game out there that will ruin your friendships. Well, all right, Cabalists, I hope that I have given you 5 games that you will go out, check out, and play with your friends so you can yell and scream at each other and walk away from the table with a giant grudge. Afterwards, you can come back together, realize how stupid it was, and be buds again. These games are fun. It helps relieve the tension of life. And really, if someone really ticks you off, just go out and say, hey, let's play Game of Thrones, and then screw them over. Great way to get payback. Check these games out. 5 games that will absolutely ruin your friendships.
Thanks so much, everybody. If you've enjoyed this video, please do us a giant favor by subscribing to the channel and clicking that wacky bell icon. If you're into board games, miniatures games, role-playing games, we have a bunch of audio podcasts you might enjoy. You can find those at thesecretcabal.com or on iTunes and Stitcher.